ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Alter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
It's Thursday night, which means that it's the only way I know what day of the week it is because it's the podcast.
Ain't that the truth? So, ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific commenter himself, Zealeus.
And by prolific commenter, he means that we hang out on Discord and do the Discord, which means you all should join us on the Discord to partake in our chat against us.
Indubitably. Now, of course, if you need a link to the Discord, I will try to find it for you, just in case it's expired, or you could just hit us up on any of our other social media means, and we will give you the link. All right.
So many options.
So, let's see. We are now in, what is this, week 3?
I think this is the third week of us doing the virtual hangout.
All right, week 3 of virtual hangout. And I am happy and yet embarrassed to say that I just posted last week's episodes online today. So episode 9 is now available. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've done 9, even though there's been more weeks than 9. But, you know, we had some illnesses and whatnot. But that being said, so we have a list of topics. Now, of course, at any time, if you have any additional thoughts, comments, or topics that you'd like for us to cover, please just drop them in the chat, and we will try to add it. But right off the bat, let's get some business out of the way, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, as many of you know, 2020 has been the year of conventions being postponed, canceled, and whatnot. So I have a list for us of updated information. Some of it is still vague as hell, but, you know, it's better than nothing. So as unfortunate as it is, MomoCon has been officially canceled. It will be coming back in the 27th through the 30th, 2021. Same location, same bad station. But it just, to be honest with you, I knew this was what was going to happen. MomoCon, as hard as they're going to try, the only other week that MomoCon really could have gotten what they needed was going to be when DragonCon is. So It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, nobody said, I mean, you know, when they officially came out and said, like, hey, we're going to try to find, like, an alternative date, I was very skeptical because they started pushing it out. It really wasn't too long until you kind of got into DragonCon dates.
Right. Well,
like you said, once you start getting to DragonCon, I mean, we love MomoCon, but MomoCon's not preemptive DragonCon.
No.
And honestly, at this point, I'm kind of skeptical of whether or not DragonCon is going to happen.
For those out there who don't know, MomoCon was supposed to happen May 21st through the 24th, 2020. It's still, you know, 2 months away-ish. But as things stand right now, there's no way that MomoCon is going to happen. Just the logistics, the sheer amount of people that were going to be at that convention is just, it wasn't going to happen. Now, that being said, MomoCon, fortunately or unfortunately, is not the only thing that has either been canceled or postponed. E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo, there we go, which was scheduled for June 9th through the 11th of 2020, has now officially been physically and virtually canceled. There was a lot of talk around trying to give it a, you know, kind of like a digital virtual pass for those individuals interested, but they have decided against that. South by Southwest, of course, was dropped. It would have been March 13th through the 22nd, so that was just this past month. So obviously that wasn't going to happen. Now we go into, first of all, I didn't know that there was now 6 different PAXs, which is Penny Arcade Expos.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know there's 7. I remember when it was, there shall only be one.
2. I think there was 2.
It started out with PAX. I mean, went to Boston pretty quickly.
Yeah. That was it was called PAX Prime, the one in Seattle, and then it went PAX East for Boston now. The one in Seattle is now called West. And currently, they don't have any official dates, but if they were to, it'd be sometime in September. PAX East happened February 27th through March the 1st, so it's had already passed. South, which is in Austin, Texas, happened earlier this year, which is January 17th to the 19th. As of right now, PAX Australia in Melbourne is still set to go off October 9th through the 11th. PAX Unplugged is still scheduled to happen in Philadelphia, November 20th through the 22nd. And PAX Dev, which is another Seattle one, they haven't officially announced it, but if they were to go in 2020, it would be sometime in August.
So yeah, people are still trying. I mean, when you're still a couple months out, you can kind of see what happened, and you hope for the best with the flattening of the curve, so to speak, and that somehow it all works out, and that we can continue to enjoy a little bit of life and go out and do our thing.
Yes. Now, I do want to mention there's two other conventions. Well, actually, there's a couple other conventions I want to mention real quick. First of all, BlizzCon would happen in October, though you're not hearing jack squat. The GDC, which is Game Developer Conference, was canceled March 16th to the 20th. Gamescom, the big gaming convention that happens in Germany, Cologne to be precise, they're scheduled for August 25th through the 29th. However, worst case scenario, they've already basically have a fallback plan of just having a digital convention if things kind of hit the fan. Comic-Con is still scheduled for July 23rd through the 26th in San Diego, and of course Dragon Con is still sitting there September 3rd through the 7th.
So yeah, I got some coming and going, and just going to kind of see where things continue to go from here since it is convention season. I know in town, Renaissance Festival has actually moved back their dates already to a compressed September-October schedule, which I'm actually kind of a fan of because Renaissance Festival's been happening in about a month from now, and it's pretty frequently you'll be going, and it's like scorching hot 98 degrees, and you're like, it's really hot. It's almost too hot to actually drink this giant pot of beer, and then I'm going to pass out from heat exhaustion.
It's called a tankard, not a pot.
I prefer my pots, my pot of a tankard. But yes, now it's going to be a little bit cooler outside. I think that should be kind of cool. So hopefully a little bit cooler weather will actually kind of benefit the scene a little bit.
It is kind of ironic. I've got some other friends who are huge in the Renaissance Fair scene, and they are ecstatic as well, going, oh my God, I might not sweat to death this year.
Yep, for sure.
Perhaps they should permanently push it back a little bit, Oh,
well. But yeah, so hopefully, I'm really hoping that it still exists, and we'll just kind of see what's happening.
Absolutely. No, okay, so yes, there's a ton of other conventions out there, and some have been canceled, some have moved, but those are the ones that are basically at the top of my list. I wasn't planning on going to PAX Australia or Unplugged or Dev, but I just didn't know that PAX now has 6.
Yeah, wow.
Which is just crazy. Now,
I figure it started out as, they hit the internet comics just at the right time. It became such a pop culture thing among the geekdom world, and they hit it just right and leveraged the hell out of that and got the business. Well, they also had a business person that helped.
Yeah,
they had that guy.
Now.
What?
Robert Koo is now gone. He left.
Well, at the time, at least, when they first got really going, they actually had a business person, at least. Whoever that, I don't know the names. But, that was unusual to have.
Or the two guys.
But they hired shortly thereafter, like a third business person now, from what I remember.
So, so Pity Arcade, they got a bunch of people behind the scene. They had someone specifically for Child's Play, which, of course, is their charity event where you raise, you basically look at a wish list for kids that are at hospitals, and then you donate the markers and the coloring books or the PlayStations or whatever. And there's a bunch of other people there. I think there was I don't know if it was business, it was merchandising, but they could have had a new business person.
Well, something along those lines, at least.
Of the loop on that.
But they definitely did a good job with it, regardless.
Yes. So, someone asked me this week about basically, for those of you out there who don't know, Riot Games basically came out with their closed beta of their latest and greatest game, Valorant, which a lot of people are calling where were they were basically saying it's a little. It's what Overwatch should be, I think, is what a lot of people are saying.
From what I read, it's kind of like Call of Duty-esque, but not as.
You mean Counter-Strike?
Sorry, yeah, I was like, that's not right. Counter-Strike, but not quite as serious business, necessarily. But yeah, because we talked about that in the past, what's going to take, the reality is Overwatch is already kind of seeing a decline in popularity.
Because there's not a whole lot of else to
variety.
Do. Yeah.
And that's kind of what we had talked about was like, things to do to make it more interesting potentially to the wider audience is, being able to change your skills and do things basically MOBAs too.
Right.
And that's something, what's the game called again? It starts with a V.
Valorant.
Valorant, thank you. That's what Valorant does from reading like the closed beta reviews, is that's what they do. Like you start the game and you have to choose your skills wisely, like you purchase them and you can only use like your skills like once per round. So it's still a first person shooter, but it has some really interesting nuanced changes on it.
Yes.
And, the idea, do you choose to purchase your upgrades to start with, or do you save them? And then, get them later in the game to be able to, in theory, get more powerful upgrades later. And I think something like that will give the game more of a longevity for the competitive scene. And that's really what they care about, let's be honest. Sure. Is they want to be competitive in the esports realm nowadays. That's where the money's at. And I think those type of changes are going to make it interesting for the longevity. Because, right now in Overwatch, somebody picks Reinhardt, what you're getting out of Reinhardt.
Right.
Somebody picks a Tracer, what that Tracer, like there's no alternatives. Whereas now, they choose these characters in this the game Valorant.
Yep.
And, now it's like a MOBA where it's like, okay, what upgrade are they going to path? Are they going to change?
Right.
And it's also another way of changing up the metas, because metas always get scale in every esports game. But being able to change even those inner skills and that stuff will change it up too.
Right.
So I think it's an interesting take, and Riot Games has shown they know what to do. They've shown, through
League of Legends.
League of Legends. Wow, this bourbon's stealing my brain cells. Through League of Legends, which I think is a cool game too.
Yep.
But they've shown that they know how to make an interesting game from a PvP perspective.
Right. So Kitty Yami says, I saw a streamer playing it, and it was like a mix of a few of the first-person shooter multiplayers out there. And I actually watched a couple. I kind of off and on just had it in the background just to see what it's all about. One, because that's the only way you could potentially get into the closed beta is that you had to have a Riot Game account. You had to connect your Twitch account to your Riot Game account. You had to watch a Valorant streams that had in its title drops enabled. And then, of course, you had to have the game downloaded. Now, unfortunately, I was not chosen to be part of the closed beta. But after watching all that, I think I would be completely over my head trying to play that game, honestly.
Well, it's something that's interesting because they made it so that in order to get closed beta, you obviously had to have some kind of inclination to wanting to play it in the first place. Like you had to go through a couple of hoops to really get that key, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, it shows that they really want it to be for people who are interested in it. And from reading the reviews, it's right now in closed beta, it's very much that type of community. It's people who want to play it and have a good time. Right.
But here's the funny thing. I think the date's been out there for a little bit. Or maybe it's just happenstance, which I really doubt it is. But Apex Legends' latest season dropped the exact same day that this closed beta deal was happening. So I find that interesting.
Maybe planned a little bit?
Perhaps. But I mean, if I were to ever play the game, I'm probably, be over my head, but I at least, take it for a spin. Hopefully they have a tutorial that's a little bit more in-depth than Apex Legends, which was, hey, you can learn the controls, but only learn how to play the medic and none of the other characters. And let me tell you, I don't know.
Well, that's like Legends of Runeterra. You can play as much against the CPU as you wanted, and there's no hoops going through it. So you could really practice your decks and your strategies against the CPU. So...
Right. Let's see. Our friend Ryan, he saw some gameplay. The graphics left something to be desired, but I know it's in beta. Well, I think to be honest with you, I think that there was some serious issues while they were streaming. I know that for a while, the the authentication server went down, and then they were having lag issues on certain servers. So that may have been the problem. But then again, it did look, I mean, it really did look like Counter-Strike-ish when I saw it. So, it wasn't like blow my mind's amazing graphics. But then again, most games where you're trying to get a wide variety of players, it's nice to have the uber ultra graphics, but you also have to have the ability for lower end systems to be able to flawlessly play it as well.
Yeah, I don't think people are jumping into the game for the graphics at this point. It's more about the gameplay and see what the community is about than anything else. I mean, look at Overwatch, and I mean, it's decent graphics, but it's nothing earth-shattering.
Nope. So, question for you, both the audience and Zealeus, with this type of thing that just happened, where basically viewers of streams, this is their only way to get into a beta. Do you like that? Do you like that approach? One, and two, does watching people stream a specific game, like a new game or maybe an interesting game that everyone's heard about but hasn't gotten their hands on, do you think that actually affects your desire to play the game or buy the game?
I think it's a good strategy, but right, I like it because it now forces players to seek out those keys. It's like they're going to be players who are naturally inclinated towards that type of game in the first place. Mm-hmm. Like they're watching, like, let's just say Zealeus was streaming, Valorant, right? Because that's, I'm some crazy esports guy, right?
Right.
Probably my audience are going to be people who are interested in the types of games I'm already playing in the first place. Mm-hmm. So if I'm the one who's able to stream it in a way that gets these people the keys, it makes sense then that those people who get those keys, it's not a guarantee, but it's a greater chance of those players being ones who are really actually interested in it.
Right.
And you're also further selecting, because let's be honest, people who actually watch live streams, it's an extremely small minority of all video game players.
Yep.
But it's also people who are very active and involved in video games. And there are people who are going to want to give their feedback, and that, they're not just probably casual players, they're really into it. So I think from a developer standpoint, it makes a lot of sense to really get some feedback from people who are really extremely invested in playing video games and want to get the most out of it.
So, our friend Ryan does have a counter argument, and I agree with this as well. He doesn't like it at all because it requires a time commitment that he doesn't have. If he had the time to sit around in a stream and potentially get the closed beta key, then sure. But he would rather just get lucky and get emailed that key. So, I mean, there's still a sign-up process. It's not like you could just, stumble upon something. But, I mean, I understand that as well. I would think in that regard, personally, if let's say that you did like a sign up or some kind of lottery system, personally, I don't know how the hell you do it, but I would try to figure out some way of like weighting your awesomeness by maybe like how much you've streamed on Twitch, or the size of your game library on Steam, or whatever, some kind of metrics that separates you from every average Joe who's applied for a key.
Yeah.
But, I mean, did I really pay attention to the stream? I'm going to be honest with you. I did not. I just had it on the damn back. Kittyami says, I think it's nice in that because of the fact you need to do all that, it means the company at least will get feedback from people if something is wrong. Plus, that also means those who applied do have time to play.
That's kind of how I feel. But I think I'm on Kitty's side on this point, where those are the people who Riot wants invested into their private betas at this point. I mean, obviously at some point they're going to want the people who, don't have as much time to invest too. But at this point, they're really looking for that feedback from people who have hours to spend and are really invested in it. So I think it was a very strategic move by Riot Games to employ this strategy at this point. And they probably knew what they were getting into also.
I could see what you're getting at, but at the same time, I also say that it may just be the fact that because it was a single day during a certain window. Let's say that I work the afternoon shift and I play a shit ton in the middle of the night. It's not the middle of the night when this window was open. I'm actually at work. So I'm getting penalized even though I'm, willing to put more time than most people in the middle of the day would.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's no perfect system.
Right, absolutely. I'm just saying,
Yeah, there's always going to be some, or you could say that, random keys just send out via email is you're going to be selecting people who don't give anything about the game. And maybe this is also maybe a good way I'd be kind of interested also to know, going this method, what does it do about the situation of basically trolls and deadweights? There's just more naturally select people who aren't going to be jackwagons in the game, and you have a lower percentage of jackwagons in the game going this route.
I would love to say yes, but let's be honest, there's probably a shit ton of trolls because there was like hundreds of thousands of people tuning into this thing. And so
I'd just be curious. It's an interesting idea, to see. I mean, they need people to play the closed beta anyways.
Right.
So it's kind of also an interesting social experiment. Riot Games doesn't lose anything by doing this. I mean, it's in no cost to them.
Here we go, Zealeus. This might be up your alley. Ryan says it's giving him PTSD flashbacks of camping rare monsters in Final Fantasy XI online for 2 hours and won't even be guaranteed to drop.
Oh yeah, that was so back in the old days of MMOs when you didn't have shared monster kills.
Oh yeah.
You would be waiting, and in theory, you might be waiting in a little bit of line to kill Hogger, and right side of Stormwind, but then you always get somebody as soon as it spawns who comes in and kills it.
Yep.
Most MMOs nowadays have a way around that where if you get a hit on the mob or whatever it is, you get credit for it also. But yeah, definitely the earlier generation MMOs, that was definitely a thing of spawn camping your mobs, and waiting for it to spawn was always a fun thing to do.
Oh yeah.
I use the word fun very loosely, and that's when we had the eons of time to invest in that one video game that had our soul.
Yes.
Because didn't you play Final Fantasy XI for a bit?
For a second, but I got frustrated because I couldn't find anyone. I'm sorry. I have to. Ryan says, never mind competing with the professional campers that would sell them online. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I always need the hand holding.
Yep.
So if you don't have some type of indicator that says, I need to talk to you, I'm not going to talk to you. I cannot play a game with the wiki page also open. I can't do it.
That was the early days of World of Warcraft, man.
Wow, I didn't play World of Warcraft that early. What did I play?
World of Warcraft, you'd have WoW open, and then another screen you'd have Wowhead open. And Wowhead is what would tell you, so you basically have to do your own. This was before you had the add-on that did it for you. Mm-hmm. You basically heat map all of your quests, and usually you'd have 5 quests concentrated in one area, 5 in another area, and 5 in another area. And you look through all 15 of your quests on Wowhead and figure out okay, I need to go to these different spots in the valley I'm in and do my quest that way.
Right.
And yeah, that was always fun with having to figure out where you had to go before your minimap would tell you.
What the hell did I play? I've played World of Warcraft. I've played Final Fantasy XI. I've played Lotro. I've played DDO.
You played Defiance.
I played Guild Wars. Actually, there was a question on another Discord channel that I'm subscribed to, and the question was, what is the longest single span of time that you've gamed without a break? And of course, it would be easy for me to say, well, shit, all these extra life things that I do. It's 24, 25 hours, depending on if there's a time change or not. But that's not actually the longest continuous gaming session that I have.
Ooh, you have longer?
That would be 32 straight hours of the Guild Wars closed beta.
Oh.
Me and 2 of my classmates camped out in my place. I played the entire 32, and they literally would pass out on the futon when they were too tired and then jump back in when they woke up.
Nice.
It was like little cat naps. But yeah,
Dude,
32
that's
hours
awesome.
straight. I definitely couldn't do that now. Well, I could, but then I would not be conscious for the next like 3 days.
Now that's who you want in your closed beta.
Exactly. But I would have been in school during the time of this stupid stream. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely have not played a video game that long.
I'm sorry, Zealeus. I mourn for you. Oh, speaking of, so Zealeus and I discussed this last week, and we've basically been alluding to this over and over and over again. The game that really has this spot in our hearts that makes us yearn for the days of yesteryear, Master of Magic.
Oh,
and now,
yes.
of course, they brought out that modification that's now recognized as a legit mod. And so I have been trying my hand at it. And
Master of Magic.
I want to cry.
Oh, dear.
Either I believed I was much better than I really am at Master of Magic, or this mod, which is supposed to level the playing field, completely just nerfed the shit out of everything I could do, because I've put it on easy. I've got a huge map, and I've got only one opponent, and it's the freaking wandering hordes that take over my city and kill me, so my game's over.
Well, the patch notes were pretty clear that the old CPU and basically strategies were terrible. Like, it was stupid easy for human. And basically, they completely leveled the playing field to make it basically not a walkover anymore.
Oh,
this is true.
It's not a walkover, even on easy, man.
Interesting.
Like, my strategies, I have to rethink all my strategies. Let's just put it that way. But anyways, if you're interested, it's, you can still get the game and the mod together for under $10 on Steam. The only issue that I have is that it runs in DOSBox.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. It's basically, it pulls up DOSBox and runs it in there.
That's crazy.
Yes. Now
it's like its own self-contained DOSBox executable, basically.
Yeah. But here's the biggest issue about it, though, is that if you accidentally tab out of it, you cannot full screen it back.
Oh, that's crazy.
So for me, and also the OBS, Streamlabs OBS that I use for my streaming of the games and the Thursday and Hangout stuff, it will not capture that window. You have to capture the display. So if I accidentally tab out, now it's the entire desktop plus a little box that has the game in it.
Interesting.
But I'm still getting my ass kicked in it, so I think I'll just play it offline so I don't cry like a little girl. Or maybe I'll cry like a little girl, but no one else would be witness to it.
But that's the best part. That's the true drama that people want to see in the video games. People having to fight tooth and nail to overcome the evil ones and zeros that attack you at every step.
Yeah, but the thing is, people want to see you get destroyed by another player. If you're getting your ass whooped by a CPU on the easiest setting, you should change the game.
Oh, it's sad.
Sorry, Zealeus. So, speaking of games, I don't know if any of y'all out there have seen it or not, but there was some big news, a new big release. And that was, of course, the unveiling of the PlayStation 5 controller. Or the Xbox 360 with a different skin.
Well, the D-pad and the nubs are in a different location now.
Woo! I know there's more, like, there's more technology in there, and there's some fun stuff that's there that the Xbox 360 would never have, but it does really look like a 360 controller in the color scheme and just like the shape, I have to say.
I feel like Sony actually wants to basically swap the D-pad in the nub so it's like symmetrical, but they know they can't because then it's the Xbox controller. So it's like, okay, guys, well, let's make it look more futuristic because we can't really change anything.
Kittyami says, oh yeah, the new controller. The amounts of jokes people have made about it. My first thought was like something Apple would have made. True. And Ryan says, I better feel the vibration of the controllers deep in my bones or I'm not sold.
They could probably sell like a extra basically vibrator
The Rumble
peripheral.
Pack. Rumble Pack.
That you put on your chest or something. Truly really make you feel it.
I need to find it. There is a great I think it's a YouTube video. It's now a YouTube video, but it was like a comedy video about Full Impact Madden, where the players were wearing like full body suits, and you get to feel, your knee separating and whiplash and all that stuff. It was hilarious.
That's exactly what I want.
But and Ryan has a very good point. When the PlayStation 3 came out, remember at the beginning they're like, oh, vibration was last generation. No one wants vibration. And then, they basically had to bow down to the owner of DualShock and be like, please put your vibrating back in my controller. That sounded
People
fun.
like haptic feedback, man.
That's when you need a haptic suit. We're going to the Oasis, man. And for those out there who don't know what the Oasis is, you need to read the book Ready Player One.
Are we going to see it in our lifetimes?
If we survive COVID-19, the percentage goes up by 4.
To what?
I don't know. I don't want to know.
It's a very generic percentage. I mean, it could be from 0 to 4%. That doesn't say much.
Oh, I do want to, for those out there who may not be part of the Discord channel or may not have caught this, Zealeus and I want to send our well wishes to one of our favorite trolls and longtime fans who unfortunately is battling with COVID-19. Indeed.
I do hope she is feeling better.
Indubitably. Now, on to happier topics. Ladies and gentlemen, since we are broadcasting on both Twitch and Facebook, I know that I mentioned earlier that the YouTube live stream does not work anymore, and that's because I had to change the multi-streamer that I was using. And as a result, the streamer I'm using now only does either YouTube and Facebook or Twitch and Facebook, but not Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube.
Oh, dear.
Yes. But since we are streaming on Twitch, I do want to talk about the new revised nudity guidelines.
Does this mean we can get nude?
Sort of.
Oh, yay!
So I don't want Zealeus nude, ever.
Oh, good. I was worried.
Yes. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, just in case you were wondering, the Twitch TV revised nudity guidelines. The new policy specifies 6 situational exceptions where attire that otherwise violates Twitch's standards is still acceptable. The new rules still prohibit full or partial nudity, specifically prohibiting exposed genitals or buttocks, and for women, the nipples. We do not permit exposed underbust, Twitch said, but cleavage is unrestricted as long as these coverage requirements are met. So that girl who kept getting dinged on Twitch apparently is in the right now because she's only doing it from above, not below.
I was worried.
It's weird. Okay, the situational exceptions include swimming and streaming while at the beach, concert, or festival, body art, breastfeeding, embeds of Twitch-endorsed content, real-life streaming outdoors in public, and context transitions such as moving from a beach setting to an outdoor in real-life streaming. Which, can we get any vaguer?
What if I use a beach background?
I know. You ever heard of a green screen?
I could pop one in like we did in Zoom the other day.
Yeah. I mean, I look, to be totally honest with you, there definitely are a lot of people out there who are going to benefit from this in the right way. There's going to be people who are going to game the system. Let's be honest. Anytime that you give an inch, someone's going to figure out a way to really screw everyone over. But there are some amazing body artists who may do full body art or maybe just partial body art, like maybe half their shows are about the, faces and some of it's, like torso up, or maybe it's a full body thing, and they, will get dinged or get kicked off because of, the area that they're showing off their body art. So for that, totally fine.
more power to them, whatever they need to do to make a living.
Yeah. So Kitty Yami says there is an exception for body art. There is. Well, now it's fully,
Charlie, next week in body art.
Dear God, no. You do not want to see.
You could have like a Thor body art to show off your massive pecs.
I don't have pecs, but thank you.
Well, you need to start. You could get some steroids.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Well,
I've got enough pills coursing through my body. I do not need to add to the cocktail.
Don't you know steroids would just help the potency of everything else going through your soul?
I don't think that's how it works.
How do you know if you've never tried?
I'm just going to go out on a limb and say no. Kitty Yami says, at least the gasm emotes aren't getting removed. Why would they, though? Because, that's... If it was approved, then it should be able to stick around. Though, you can have... If you're subscribed to a channel, you get a set of, like, special emotes, though, right? Kitty Yami says, I remember someone got worried because the exception they originally placed was removed, and it's lewd emote. Interesting. But anyways, good for them. More power to them. So you can do... for those out there who are actually going to utilize it the right way, you go and do what you need to do. Now...
Hey, Lord knows I can't do it.
Yeah.
Or you probably don't want me to, let's put it that way.
Yeah, no. But I do want to take this second real quick, and I want to change subjects. And for those out there who are of the pencil and paper variety, Dungeons & Dragons, or Wizards of the Coast, who owns Dungeons & Dragons now, has decided that they are going to reveal or release free content for all of us amazing people out there who may be stuck at home and need something awesome. There has been an extremely high uptick in online pencil to paper or tabletop gaming. There's quite a few applications out there that you could use for free. And Wizards of the Coast, the last one they dropped was April the 6th, and it is Dungeons & Dragons Adventure League, an ongoing official campaign for Dungeons & Dragons. The Adventures League uses the 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons rules and features the Forgotten Realm setting. You have the Player's Guide, the Dungeon Master's Guide, and the Introductory Adventure for First Level Characters, available now, free for a limited time.
Interesting.
And then they also have, for families with younger games, Adventure with Muck began as a fundraising project to support 2019 D&D Extra Live team efforts. We'd like to thank everyone who supported the project and the cause with their purchase of it. We've now made it available as pay what you want, download an activity book with puzzles, adventure hooks, and with each page made to be colored and enjoyed.
How many of those have you bought already?
I haven't bought any yet. Oh, actually, let's see. What's today? Thursday? They haven't said anything yet, but Wednesday they dropped an adventure for levels 1 through 4. And then an encounter, and then they also have coloring pages. Well, shit. I'm going to get on this to...
Coloring pages, man.
Yeah, man.
Keep somebody that you may know entertained.
Well, my youngest son, it would entertain him for about 3 seconds, and then he would move on to the next thing. Because he'd literally just take one color and just go...
I was talking about you, yo.
Oh, yeah. Jesus, man. Yeah.
Come on.
Hello. Dude, I'd be all over that for a day. At least.
Hey, in these times, that's all we need is a day to entertain us for at least a little bit.
Oh, hell yeah. But anyways, if you want to go ahead and grab that, it's dnd.wizards.com /remote/free material, or you could just check out the link in the chat window, and I don't know if it actually placed it into the, God dang it, that's not going to work, Charlie. I'm between two computers, and I was going to try to paste it into the Facebook thing, but that would be on a different computer, so that's not going to work. Control V, why is it not working?
There's so many things. I'm so confused.
I'm so confused. But I will, hold on, let me just drop it into the Facebook one real quick. Speaking of tabletop gaming, ladies and gentlemen, Zealeus and I are currently working on something amazing, and hopefully we can get it all together for you. We are in discussions with the one and only mastermind himself of a tabletop game that Zealeus and I can't get enough of, and that, of course, is Craig Campbell of Capers fame. We are going to try to get him on live on video as well onto next week's episode. If we could do that, it's going to be more about the tabletop RPGs and his process, but still hell a lot of worth it.
It would be awesome.
This guy has successfully done at least 4 or 5 Kickstarter campaigns. He's followed the wonderful advice of KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And he's delivered on everything.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. He's delivered on everything and more. And, of course, Zealeus and I have a soft spot simply because we got to play beta versions of all the games.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think that might be number 6. Because you had Merchant Acquisitions, then you had Capers, 1, 2, 3, and then Die Laughing.
Die Laughing. That was a fun game.
Heck yeah, it was. So anything that Nerdburger Games touches, you need to get in on. If you like tabletop at all, and you want something that won't require you to read a dictionary worth of rules, then Merchant Acquisitions or Capers or Die Laughing. Die Laughing is actually really easy to pick up. But definitely check out all that. Just Google Nerdburger Games, and it'll take you there, and you could get to all of your you can get to the drive-through RPG website to get the PDF version or the physical copies of all the books. I, of course, own all the physical copies of the books because I helped kickstart all of them. And with the exception of this one, I think at least my name, my name is going to be in this upcoming one, but my picture's not going to be. And I'm kind of sad because they didn't have that option this year or this go around. It's been fun to see pictures of myself in the book.
I don't know about seeing pictures of you in a book. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, it's stylized. It's not like an actual...
Seems a little bit sketchy to me.
It's an artistic representation, kind of like our Thursday Night Hangout picture.
Okay.
Which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested to know the name of the artist who has created our amazing piece of art, that is Jonathan. Oh my gosh, I just blanked out. Just go to Imagination, Majanation. Jonathan Rosenblum.
He does some pretty awesome artwork or so here.
It's right over my shoulder right here, and you can also see it in the window above there. Pictures of him in a book, but totally promoting the body art.
He does it all.
Yeah. Anyways, I felt like there was something else that I was supposed to say, but I can't remember what it is now.
I'm pretty sure you always have something else to say. It's part of the duty.
Of course, pictures of him in a book is creepy. But, pictures of me in a book is creepy. Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's part of the beauty of it, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You seem kind of skeptical.
We'll see.
Mm.
Oh, here we go. Here we're talking about BlizzCon at the beginning of the show. Blizzard says it's too early to know if BlizzCon 2020 will happen. Blizzard's annual convention may not happen thanks to the spread of COVID-19.
See, I would think they'd be in the perfect position to still do it wirelessly or remotely because it's an integrated part of their process.
Right. Let's see here. I'm trying to figure out what the guy's title is. BlizzCon's executive producer stated, while we're all hopeful things will look better later in the year, the bottom line is that at this point it's too early to know whether BlizzCon 2020 will be feasible. The health of our community, employees, and everyone who helps with the show is our top consideration. It may be a few months before we know for certain if or how we'll proceed, but as soon as we have a meaningful update, we'll share it.
Oh, there you go.
Now, see, I understand the want to have the digital, the virtual, but you also have to remember that anything that's going to be digital or virtual is going to require some serious manpower in order to make it to the level of like a Blizzard or a GameCon or whatever. So that's why E3 decided against it. That's why they canceled it, even though E3 is not until June.
That's true.
It's just there's so many moving parts.
So what about like a pared down free version where they still do some of their announcements, but it's like, like one dude talking in an auditorium type of thing, or like in his house?
I think that if there's any version, be it a light or a sampling or whatever of BlizzCon, they're going to charge for it because they know people are going to pay for it. They're not going to give it for free. No offense, but if I was Blizzard, I definitely, would not sell our brand short.
I hear you.
You could pay the $10-15.
Yeah,
and
they've shown it does work. Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
Okay, so I don't know if anyone in the audience plays this game or not, but I continue to scratch my head over freaking Animal Crossing. I don't understand it. I really don't. Like, what the hell?
Obviously, it's not your cup of a game.
Yeah, absolutely. I keep looking at it and I'm like, I don't know. I don't understand. I just don't understand.
Maybe you should pick it up and try it out. Maybe you'll see what you've been missing out on all your life.
See, I'm afraid either I'm going to waste a shit ton of money, or I'm going to fall down a deep, deep, dark hole, and no one will ever see me again.
Well, yes, that's always a possibility. Yes, that can definitely happen.
I will allow everyone else to play the game, and then you could tell me how much I'm missing out, or how much I'm saving myself, how much pain I'm saving myself from. How about that?
I have no desire to play it. I played games like it, like
I feel like the
Stardew Valley, and it just wasn't my cup of tea. I'm like, all right, I tried it, played it for a couple of hours, and it's not that it was a bad game. It just didn't do it for me.
Okay, so I mean, for anyone out there, either during the show or in a recording or whatever, how does Animal Crossing compare to like The Sims or to Stardew Valley or Terraria or I guess Minecraft to some extent? But it looks totally different.
Which means it is.
Yeah, sure. Keep telling yourself that. No, yeah, I'm stuck playing Gems of War when I'm on my Switch, and when I'm not on my Switch, I continue to dabble in Legends of Runeterra. However, after posting my 3 highlight videos of me winning the only 3 games I've played against an actual opponent, I have not played against an actual opponent since, because I don't want to destroy that fragile dream that I am just amazing.
Hey, you're undefeated then, right?
Yeah, 3-0, man.
Well, there you go. What else do you have to live for?
Now I'm just gonna retire while I'm on top.
Why not, man? I don't want to drive your reputation into the ground.
Exactly. Now I will say that I am, with of course the COVID-19 thing, and everyone's trying to be very, very frugal with their money. They don't want to just frivolously buy stuff when they might need the money to survive. There are a couple of games on the Switch that I'm very interested in. However, because of a price tag, even if it's a small price tag, I'm being super duper careful. One of them is, hold on, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to grab my Switch, which is just over here real quick.
Well, so while you grab it, here's the thing I've noticed about Nintendo game. It's been a while since I had a Nintendo console. Mm-hmm. And what it's kind of felt like, and particularly for the AAA games, if you want to buy it, and let's just say it's full price, it's not probably worth it to wait for the price to drop. It seems like that, especially the AAA games don't really drop in price. Especially, they might eventually, but especially when you look at like Steam or Xbox or PlayStation 4, where even the AAA title prices drop quickly enough.
Yeah,
going through and like searching through this, the Switch library, it's like, holy crap, this game is still $60. It seems like the Nintendo's.
It's very random about what drops and what not. I think it's really up to the publisher. I think that Steam has a little bit more wiggle room I'm not exactly sure about Sony, but Steam basically like, hey, we'll put your game up on the front thing if we put a discount.
It's just like Nintendo is just like, if your game, it's coming out, like, let's just say, like, come out soon is like it's been out for actually 2 years. Xenowar's Chronicles 2 remastered. It's still like $90 for like the whole shebang, but it's been out for a year or two.
That's like 5 different games in one.
Well, I was saying, like, that's the original price. Any other console or PC, the price would have gone down some, whereas the Nintendo, it just stays at the price. But it seems like that's not just that game. It's just in general, kind of looking. Nintendo just doesn't really, on the eShop store, doesn't really drop the prices, especially for the AAAs.
Well, it's more the bundles. Because like they're like, oh, look at this, the bundle. We have a discount. And it's like the bundle usually costs $89.99. Today it is $79.99. I'm like, wow, $10.
I think my favorite one I saw the other day, I was just browsing. I just like diving into like the trudges of the eShop to see what the bottom of the barrel is. There's utility. And it was like Basebaster or something to like see like what your base in your system was. MSRP $70. On sale for $0. I was like, how does that work out?
Look, every single time I go through the I go to the great deal section when I go to the shop, and I always come across, I will never buy this game because it just confuses me, but the clock simulator.
I've seen that too.
I'm like, what who would want? I've got a clock right here on my watch and one on my phone.
It's a classic puzzle game or something, I guess.
No.
I was like, does it just show like a cool fancy clock on your Switch that you can like customize?
I don't know. Maybe it's one of those like turn things.
I don't know.
It's a minimalist rhythm game. It puts the player in the role of the clock itself to explore the concept of time in a whole new way. Sorry, I'm not going to play that.
You're done by becoming a time traveler by playing it. You just don't know.
No. The 2 games that I'm very interested in that have demos, so I picked it up on the Switch, is Mistover and Lost Sphere, but it's spelled Sphear.
The game I was looking at was... again, there's a demo which I played, which was like, ooh, this is good. What is it called? It's a remake, because a bunch of them are.
Of course.
Trials of Mana.
Ah, gotcha. Yep.
And it's a remake, but again, it's $60 new.
Yep.
And normally other consoles, actually, let's be honest, PC for me, I'd wait 6 months to a year. It would be like $20 at Christmas time. Just going by the history of the Switch, it still gave me $60 at Christmas time. Maybe $50.
That's $50 pre-order on Steam.
Or sorry, $50. So for me, it's like, if I'm going to get it, like I'm not going to because I'm actually playing another game, Dragon's Dogma, which is going to take me a while to play, which is really a game, by the way.
I've got it for the PlayStation 3.
Oh, that's a fun game. I didn't even know it existed, and then I played it. I'm like, holy crap, this is a good game.
The only reason I know that I have a player with the PlayStation 3 is when I did my game inventory. I'm like, I have this game.
Did you ever play it?
No.
Oh, it's a good game. It's a action RPG, but it's fun. Anyways, but like, so Mana, it's $50. It's probably going to stay $50 for a while. So if I'm going to play it, you know me, I like to wait till games are in the bargain bin. But it seems like that strategy with the Switch isn't quite as effective. I mean, there's still some exceptions. There's always going to be sales. Like, first, it's like, I know Bastion and Transistor were on sale for like $2 a piece this week.
See, I think you can't take the same logic as you would with Steam or the other ones, because it's usually over time. With Nintendo, it's literally like somebody up on high on one of the publishers goes, you know what? For this next 4 days, we're going to drop the price. But there's not really any like clear communication unless you set up your damn news channels to just catch that. So there's a lot of deals that you may be hesitant on, and you're like, oh, you know what? Let me think about it. And then, of course, it's gone, because there's a ton of games that are on my wish list that dropped, and I was like, oh, man, I'm going to get that tomorrow. And then I came back, and I'm like, they're full price now.
Well, and by default, unless I'm totally missing something, it seems like the wish list doesn't notify you if they're on sale.
No, they don't.
Which is like, I mean,
Part of the reason why you put it on a wish list. I mean, when you have your Steam wish list, it goes, hey, by the way, this is on sale. Because Steam's like, we know we've got you by the metaphorical balls of your wallet, so we're going to make it even more difficult for you to keep that credit card in your wallet.
But isn't it also like the most classic, like Nintendo lack of internet ability?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, oh, it's Nintendo. Duh.
Yep.
Which is unfortunate because like I actually bought both Bastion and Transistor for less than $10. I'm not playing them yet.
But still,
I'm like,
amazing games.
But I'm like, dude, they're on sale. I'm going to play them someday. They're on sale. Might as well buy them. I just happen to see it on my wish list that they're on sale, like just by random chance.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's literally like when I boot up my Switch now, I just randomly go through the great deal section before I do anything, because chances are I will find something if I keep looking every single time I turn on my Switch. Now, of course, if I was a smart person, I would just go straight to my wish list and it'll tell me if the price has changed. Well, just show me a different price. And I'll have to remember, is that the right price or is it lower?
Did they do the thing where like, oh, they jacked the price up by $10 and then it goes on sale?
Oh, yeah, that too. So, damn it. Oh, there was, oh my goodness gracious. Brain just went kaputsies.
Well, that's sad.
Yeah, I don't remember. Shoot. There's something I wanted to say about a game. First of all, everyone out there who likes puzzle question play Gems of oh my, now I'm really losing it. Gems of War. That's what. Gems of War. So it's a free to play game. Of course, there's microtransactions. You could play the game without doing any microtransactions. And I have found what the what do you call it? The downside to playing just playing it free, and that is in order to basically pump up your, I guess, rarity of your cards so that you can unlock, more powerful stats and whatever. You need to have duplicates of the card. And you're going to get a shit ton of cards. However, there is a shit ton of cards. So I've only once had enough. No, twice. In a shit ton of hours that I've played the game. Only twice have I had enough to put it from common to uncommon. Because I don't have enough to do it from like uncommon to whatever is rare and then epic and whatever. But the thing is, when you do, and there's also another part to it, and that is you have to collect these rune stones, and you need to have such a certain number of runes, all these different rune stones, in order to unlock a special ability for your character. Like from now on, this character will do double damage against all monsters.
Yep.
But it's a shit ton of rune stones, and at the level that I'm at, all my characters are level 18, which is humongous, by the way. That's good. The max you can right off the bat. They're all 18. When I play against even CPU players that are on 18, they have all of their special skills unlocked. I don't have a single one on any of my characters unlocked because I don't have enough of those rune stones.
That's not cool.
Yes.
Do you have to basically
grind?
You have to pay?
Grind or pay.
Now, does the Switch version, does that have microtransactions to speed up the play?
Oh God, yes.
Oh, it does. Interesting.
Yeah, it's there's a ton of different. There's an Easter special happening right now. They'll pop up every once in a while saying, "Hey, today for $9.99, you can get this special thing."
Well, that's
there is of course, there is stuff that there's a couple like in-game currencies, which is insane. Okay, so you have your gold coins. You have your souls, and the souls are used to upgrade your character, and they can get the amount becomes astronomical between one level and another. When you get higher, then you also have, fate, which is something that you use for some other like exclusive item, and of course you have your gems, which are your like super duper exclusive items. I mean, there's so many layers to this game that it's just insane.
But it sounds like you're enjoying it.
I am. I mean, who doesn't like to match 3, 4, or 5 and cause bodily harm to an army that thinks that they're better than I am?
Well, we know you do, sir.
I kill them.
You killed them all?
Yes.
It's kind of jerkish of you.
However, it is very interesting when they put those restrictions, and this is when it really shows when you're playing free versus if you're paying. From time to time, there'll be special quests that have very strict restrictions, and so you'd be like, has to be only cards from this area of this type. And I will have a ton of those cards, but I've never leveled them up. And all of them need to be at least level 10, but I don't have enough souls to level up even one to level 10. And of course, it's a very short like window of for this event. Yeah. So it's just, pain in the ass.
That sounds terrible, sir.
It is. So I know we're kind of winding down the show, but I do want to do a couple things real quick. And the first off is to thank everyone for tuning in. Second one is, once again, one of our longtime fans, thoughts and prayers with her as she battles COVID-19. Mm-hmm. If we can get all our if we get all our ducks in a row, geez, I can't talk.
The ducks.
Yes, the ducks. We will have the man, the myth, the legend of Craig Campbell on the show next week. He, of course, is the man behind Nerdburger Games, Mergers and Acquisitions, Die Laughing, and Capers, which at some point we really need to do I need to find a way to do some live streaming of some of Craig's stuff. Because it's awesome. It's really easy to pick up, and I think that, if we could get Craig to head the game, I'd definitely be in, and I know there'd be, a bunch of people who would jump at that opportunity.
That could be kind of awesome, yes.
Yes, it would. So let's see what we can do. But other than that, I guess, everyone stay safe.
Where are we going to stay safe? Inside of our house?
Inside of your house. Oh, that's right. The other thing. Ladies and gentlemen, for you, those out there who are new to the show, which I don't think there's anyone new out there, but just in case, ladies and gentlemen, I, Charlie, seem to have a slight addiction to a certain concoction, and I want you to know that even during this locked in, I have found a way to survive.
You're still surviving?
Yes,
you will survive.
And I will show you how I'm surviving.
I was really worried there.
You should be.
I'm really excited about what you're going to show us.
Huh?
I'm really excited.
Okay.
Oh. Wait, the headphones are back on. He's got serious business going on.
1, 2.
Oh, dear.
Wait. 3.
Nice.
And then, of course, can't have one without the other. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have enough of my doom mix to last me just a wee bit.
So I got some good and some bad. Okay. So the good is, during this whole thing, is I've just been doing Instacart, which means I've actually not been buying soft drinks.
Oh, no.
So I actually haven't had a soft drink in probably over a month.
I cannot do that.
On the other hand, I'm probably on my way to becoming a raging alcoholic.
I think everyone is. People are like, I'm not usually a drinker, but I need something at the end of the day. I'm like, I know.
Screw that. I did something at the beginning of the day now.
I can do that. That's my Mountain Dew time.
Well, I'm on spring break, so I can start drinking anytime, which can be dangerous.
My kids are on spring break, and I should not be tempted to drink anytime because believe me,
yes,
it's in the cards.
I hear you. Yeah, it's much easier when you're just sitting there all day or standing there all day to just have an extra beer or two that you weren't planning on otherwise.
Real quick, I've actually heard for those out there who have the Nintendo Switch and are looking for a game to really dive into. I've heard that even after spending oodles and oodles of time, and the Fire Emblem Three House game can still rock your socks off.
Interesting.
So for anyone out there who does the Fire Emblem stuff, what did I say? Three Houses. I'll make sure that I get this correcto.
No, Fire Emblem's usually turn-based, right?
Yeah, it's in the same vein as like Final Fantasy Tactics. It's a tactics game, $60 digital.
Yeah, and the turn-based ones just don't quite do it for me.
Yeah, the other thing is though that this is, I think potentially there's a setting that you could turn this off, but it's also one of those games that if a character dies, he's dead. He ain't coming back.
Ooh, that's brutal.
Which, of course, for me is like, it's just like borderline suicidal because, you know me, I stick with one set of characters the entire game, and then I don't go and I don't do anything else. And if I were to accidentally mess up and I'd lose one of those characters that I have put so much time and effort into, I don't have anyone to fall back on.
And plus, you'd probably just be like so frustrated where you're just like, screw it, I'm done.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. Yeah.
Agreed. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we've reached the end of the show. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Altered Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. And so for myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure giving you everything coming out of our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Altered Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.